Hey, what's up you guys, this is Rob from Guy Plays, and there are a shit ton of things to test, so we're gonna get down and dirty with Mag's rework when we do it raw. Now, lots of changes have happened, so do me a massive favor, keep the comments constructive and not just bitch fests. The update has been live for just a few hours, so let the initial shock that comes along with change settle and play her a little yourself before you pass any judgment. Okay, so let's begin with pull. On its own it hasn't changed much at all, but it does have an increased chance to drop an energy orb. At 200% power strength you get a 50% chance at a reroll, which honestly doesn't seem like much, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a feature before, so a bonus is a bonus and I will take it. Now, paired up with Magnetize, this thing does some pretty substantial damage. As you can see on its own, it's dealing about 550 points of damage per pull. But once the target is magnetized, the damage jumps up to 4,396, which is just a few points short of dealing 8 times the original damage. Honestly, it's a bit insane and I kinda like it. Moving along, let's take a look at Magnetize. Okay, so this on its own deals no damage. However, it will absorb any gunfire from inside the orb, including yours, and any gunfire directed at the orb, dealing a portion of that damage to all enemies inside. Note that the damage is radial, centered around the enemy you cast it on. In addition, the enemy will become magnetized and have a small pull on surrounding enemies, attracting them inside. Keep in mind that I said small pull, as many enemies will still be able to escape the grip. Once the duration is over, if the magnetized enemy is dead, the orb will collapse upon itself and explode, dealing a portion of the absorbed damage to surrounding enemies, if they happen to still be in range. Now, the most controversial change is Polarize. Let me keep this simple. The only damage it does is to shielding or health damage to enemies that are armored. If your target has no shields and no armor, it will do nothing, but it will still restore your shields. Now, in addition to its original ability to detonate shielding, the new benefit it has is that it can strip armor. With 200% power strength, it only took one cast to strip a level 10 corrupted heavy gunner of its armor. However, the effect has more trouble the higher up you go. At level 50, it takes 3 casts with 200% power strength to strip armor completely, and at level 100, it took 10 casts. With 299% power strength, which is the max you can get with mods, it still takes 7 casts. Now, while this is handy, it does take way too many casts to completely strip an enemy, so this would not be my go-to armor shredding ability. Now, when it comes to synergies, each cast leaves behind shrapnel. At this point in time, both shielded enemies and armored enemies both leave it behind. Not sure if that was meant to happen, but that's what it currently is. Now, each bit of shrapnel can be picked up by magnetized enemies, adding to the damage over time effect. Now, from what I've seen, it's adding a very small amount of damage over time, so it's not necessarily anything to go crazy over. Now, before we move on, there is one more thing that I need to mention about Polarize. It now acts similarly to Nova's molecular prime, which means that its range is also affected by its spread duration. So not only are you going to want to mod this for range, but you'll need a little duration as well. The build that you saw me use earlier spreads to about 37 meters if you're curious. And lastly is good old Crush. It's still Crush and does all the things that Crush does. Sadly, I was kind of expecting that Crush would leave shrapnel too, but I scoured around and there was nothing in sight. Now, I have many things to say about this, both positive and negative, however, I need to let all of my feels settle as well. So these right here are all of the facts that I think you should be aware of. Now, keep an eye out for the rest of my playtests because I'm going to be coming at you hard and fast, but until then, stay educated as fuck.